Moving on. So we've talked a lot about the NFL draft the last few weeks,
Yeah.
and we've kind of crapped on the NFL for some of their decision making,
Yeah.
especially with two of
Mhm.
our favorite players, a Georgia player and a Notre Dame player, um, Kyle Hamilton and I'm sorry, I already forgot his name.
N'Kobe Dean.
N'Kobe
N'Kobe
Dean.
Dean.
Yeah, too
Yeah,
many players to remember on Georgia's defense.
that's right.
But we're kind of hard in the NFL for those guys dropping. I will give the NFL props. They did not overdraft quarterback like we thought they might. Um, they drafted one quarterback in the first round, and that was way down at 20, Kenny
Fair.
Pickett, and
Hmm.
zero in the second round. So, yeah, like I think they kind of nailed quarterback. Like I probably still wouldn't have drafted Kenny Pickett till the second round, but it might work out. Like at least they drafted him 20th instead of in the top 10. So I
I
will give the NFL props there. Um, but we literally decided this as we were getting ready for this podcast tonight. We want to do our own early mock draft for next year from a college perspective, because
yeah.
we do have a little bit of a different perspective. And there's a mock draft out there today from CBS Sports with Will Levis at number one. And I've seen him in the first round in multiple mock drafts. Um, so I'm not just calling out CBS Sports. I'm literally calling out all of the sites because they all seem to want Will Levis in the first round. Um, we're just going to go ahead and do alternating top 20 picks here. So 10 for each of us,
Uh-huh.
with zero prep time, by the way. This
Yeah.
is basically just as college football fans and to a lesser extent NFL fans. This is, I don't know. Do you want to just go with predicting who will go in the top 20, or do you want to go with who we would take, or some combination of the two?
A combination of the two.
Sure.
Let's just do a combination, kind of like our favorites, and then plus who we think will actually be going there.
Sure. Okay. So this is all very professional. I have a coin here in my hand. I'm going to flip this for the rights to the first overall pick.
Okay.
Ashton, heads or tails?
Tails never fails.
All right. It is tails. Ashton,
Yes.
you are on the clock with the number one pick in the 2023 NFL draft.
Okay. So this is decision time. And I want to say that this is actually not an enviable position. You have to choose between Bryce or CJ.
Will
So
Levis
Bryce
is
Young,
right there, man.
leave me alone. Spare me with the Will Levis stuff. Watched him live last year. I'm just going to say, if you get outplayed by Stetson Bennett, you have no business being in the first round. None at all. So I'm going to choose between Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, who are the best two quarterbacks in this draft. Will Levis being there. Yeah, I don't care. He can be there and put mayo in his coffee or whatever he does. I'm going to choose. Oh shoot! See, Stroud's bigger than. I'm going to go CJ Stroud over Bryce Young because I think CJ Stroud might be a little bit less injury prone. Knock on wood. CJ Stroud,
Okay.
number one pick. Yeah,
All right.
that's me.
So that's easy for me. I'm just going Bryce Young. And I think I would have gone him first overall. Maybe not because I necessarily think he will, but just because I feel like if I was a GM next year, I would take Bryce Young, knowing what we know now. Because he might not quite have as big of an arm, but I feel like he's more accurate, and I'm choosing accuracy over arm strength every time.
You're not going to go wrong with either one of those guys.
Yeah.
I will say they're both excellent pro prospects.
Yes.
I am number 3 going with Will Anderson Jr.,
Darn it.
the edge from Alabama. I feel he is possibly the best player overall in college football. He happens to play not quarterback, which means he's not going to go 1 or 2. But I think he can go 3. So I'm again Will Levis in a free fall currently in our snake draft.
Yeah. This is tough because I feel like there's two guys I really want, and I feel like there's a drop off after them.
There is.
Man, I'm not gonna tell you who the two guys are. Just there's a 1% chance they're different than what you're thinking, but
they're not.
It's the same two guys. I'm just gonna go with the positional value pick. And I'm gonna go with Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Okay.
Just because I think he's that special. Yeah, like I feel like he's most likely a 10-time Pro Bowler. So I'll take.
Okay.
He might be the best receiver in the NFL in 3 years, and I would be quite okay with having the best receiver in the NFL. So we're gonna go with that.
All All right, you leave me with Jalen Carter. That's the
Yep.
guy that you wanted. That's I get to pair him with Will Anderson, by the way, up
Yeah.
front. What a stellar batch of rushers that is
For real.
to go after quarterbacks. So I'm going with Jalen Carter.
Okay, that was definitely my other option. Now we have a drop off, and this I feel like it kind of goes to like personal preference. I will not be selecting Will Levis with my next pick, because I actually watch college football. So,
Yeah.
Some of the other quarterbacks, like there's a bunch of quarterbacks that could go in the first round. We could have a lot, but I'm not taking any of them here. I just don't think the two guys that are no doubters in my mind are gone. Boy, this is tough. I'm just going to stick to the big board here. This guy was the number one overall recruit in the country in his class. Has struggled a little bit with injuries, but I feel like he's right next to Jalen Carter for interior defensive lineman. I'll go Brian Brzee. Nothing spectacular there as far as like a surprise or whatever, but I do think you're not going to have a miss with him. I feel like I think he will be a hit.
Okay. Yeah, it's starting to get a little tougher here. I will say.
Yeah.
It's all fun and games up there at the top, and now it's like, okay, who are we going with? I'm going Bijan Robinson, the running back from Texas.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I really like his game. I think it transitions well. He has really good hands for running back, which I think is huge in today's game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll go with Bijan Robinson.
Good. I would never draft the running back in the first round these days. Just wouldn't do it. But yeah, I mean, I will say, like, he's an incredible running back. Like, you could do a lot worse than Bijan Robinson. There's a couple different players here that I'm looking at the same position. I'm gonna go Kayshon Boutte, wide receiver, LSU.
Yeah.
I feel like he's just kind of produced ever since he was a true freshman.
Mm-hmm.
And I now have Jackson Smith and Jigba and Kayshon Boutte. So my team will be lighting it up. Although obviously we are drafting for different teams because this is the draft.
I know. It's a little unfair for us to just I get all these guys.
Exactly.
I'm going to be loaded next year. For me, give me Noah Sewell, linebacker, Oregon. I'm a fan of his. I think he's, kind of that new breed of linebacker that runs really well, but can still stop the run though, like still physical enough to get his nose down and stop the run, but also does well in space. So I'm a Noah Sewell fan. I will take him.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna go with probably the best offensive lineman on the board. This was a guy that Notre Dame regrettably kind of passed on / didn't pursue strongly enough, and he immediately became like an All-American at Northwestern, and that's Peter Skoronski. You may have never heard of him if you're a casual fan, or even if you're a big-time college football fan, because he's an offensive lineman from Northwestern. I know him because he was a recruit on Notre Dame's radar, and they kind of chose other people over him, which was a mistake. And it was apparent since the first time he took the field for Northwestern. So I'll go Peter Skoronski with the 10th pick. So we're halfway through here.
Yep. With number 11, give me Josh Downs, receiver, North Carolina. I think he's going to pop this year, have a really good year. Fan of his game. I think he right now he's a little lower. Like he's not projected to be quite this high. Like we have him, number 11 overall. No one's really picking him to go that high. I think by the end of next year, he will have vaulted himself up into that conversation. I predict big things for Josh Downs. I take him at 11.
Okay. Don't hate it at all. That's a good pick. I will go next. I think I'm going to the other receiver I was looking at. I'll go Jordan Addison. Won the Blatnikoff this year at Pitt, and I don't think it's announced officially yet that he's going to USC, but he's in the portal. And USC is kind of the presumed there's talk of NIL deals before he ever was in the portal. So, but this guy is legit. He's very good. I will go with Jordan Addison.
All right. Like it a lot. I really do like that one. That would have been my next. So I am scrambling here. I will go with Nolan Smith, the edge from Georgia.
Yes.
Another former number one overall prospect going into his year. He was number one on 24/7.
I believe so. Yeah.
I think he was number one in the composite. So I like
right.
Nolan Smith. I think he's going to have a really good year at Georgia. With some of those other guys gone, he will have more playing time. So it sounds bad, but if you get 3 other first round defensive linemen out of the way, you get room for the next, 3 first round defensive linemen. So he will be one of the next batch. I think he'll probably lead the team in sacks, a decent chance. I think he will begin vaulting up boards. I will take him with number 13.
All right. We don't have a corner off the board yet. I'm going to go with Eli Ricks, the LSU player who transferred to Alabama. And am I right in thinking that he just got arrested or something?
Marijuana. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's what. Okay. So, all right. This guy
character issues, Vince. Character issues. I don't like that. You're not showing value.
He'll be fine. He'll have the Nick Saban shine on him at the end of his next season, so he'll be fine. He'll probably get drafted higher than I picked him here, so I'll go Eli Ricks next.
Okay. Dude, some of that stuff's so funny. I will say the Athens PD, the local Athens PD, which is University of Georgia, that's where that's the town that they're in. They absolutely hate the football program. They arrested a Georgia player for having a plastic BB gun. It was a plastic BB gun, and he was arrested for it.
Oh my!
What are we doing? They arrested. I think Nolan Smith because he didn't have a seatbelt on. It's man, what are we doing? What are we doing? I did not know that was an arrestable offense. My goodness, but yeah. We'll keep moving on through that. I think, who knows what happened? I'm going to go with Michael Mayer.
No, that was my next pick.
Yeah, at tight end, I think he's a little bit of a mismatch. I like what he does against he's big, right? I mean, like Gronk type tight end. In a world where there's just not many humans like him that move like him, I'll take Michael Mayer. I feel really good about that one.
By the way, so this was something I heard from one of the Notre Dame beat guys last year during the season. He was reporting that he was talking with somebody inside the Notre Dame program, a coach or something, and they were just talking about the season. They mentioned how Michael Mayer was easily the best player on the roster, and he's like, hold on, Kyle Hamilton's there. He's like, and he said the guy thought for his little bit. He's like, well, yeah, I guess I shouldn't say easily. So. Clearly very high opinions of Michael Mayer there. Probably the second best receiving tight end in the country. Right. And the best one was Brock Bowers, who was a true freshman a year ago, will not be eligible for the upcoming draft. And he's also a great blocker. Michael Mayer is the complete package. I expect we will see him. So this last year as a true freshman, he set the Notre Dame records for touchdowns and receptions, I believe, if not yards, by a Notre Dame tight end. And this is we're talking about probably the program that has had the most success with tight ends in history. Notre Dame has had, so since I was, let's say it a different way, since 2003, every single opening day tight end for Notre Dame has been drafted, every single one. And I think they even had one drafted who was not a starter. Notre Dame tight ends get drafted.
Right.
Quite a few of them in the second round. Occasionally you get a first rounder. Michael Mayer will be a first rounder. And this guy's about as good as we've seen. So just saying you have a good pick there. Gotcha.
Okay.
So let's see. How many picks do we have left here? That was number 15. 3 more for me. I will go Miles Murphy, the edge from Clemson next.
Okay.
Almost outshined Brian Brzee as freshman. Just feel like he's kind of that next great Clemson edge. So that's where I go, Miles Murphy.
Okay. I am going to go back to the Oregon linebacker Justin Flo, linebacker, Oregon, another 5-star guy, another big physical guy. Go look at pictures of this guy. I'm serious. It's unbelievable, some of his pictures, but moves well. For a big dude, moves well. Kind of, again, new breed of linebacker that's big, but still extremely agile. yeah, Justin Flo, really like to pair him there with, well, yeah, I guess they're not on the same team, but Noah Sewell and Justin Flo are probably the best linebacker duo in the nation right now. And I get it. I get to have both of them. That feels really good.
Nice. I'm going to go pass rusher again. I will go Isaiah Foskey from Notre Dame. Definitely Notre Dame's best pass rusher. Was within shot of their all-time record for sacks in a season last year and might do it this year. So I'll go Isaiah Foskey.
Where does this put me at? Where is this pick?
Your last pick. We got one pick left each. Pick number 19 right here.
Okay. So I'm torn between Jalen Catalon, safety from Arkansas, or Keely Ringo, the corner from Georgia.
Yeah.
I am going to go with Jalen Catalon at safety.
Okay.
I think he was their best player on defense last year. I think he will be again this year and have a really good year. I'll go Jalen Catalon.
Okay. So I'm down to my last pick. I feel like it's a good receiver draft. We'll go Marvin Mims, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And that will wrap up our 2023 mock draft, which will clearly be the most accurate one out there. Yeah. So, and I fully expect us to both get offered GM jobs in the future. So
I'm just saying we couldn't do a much worse job than some of these guys. I mean it. I mean it.
Yeah.
If me and you were running a franchise, we would at least taken Nakobe Dean in the second round.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like I feel good about us. I think we could really give like the Detroit Lions like the shot in the arm they need to, win 5 games a year instead of 2.
Right.
So yeah, no, it's not that hard. They just make it hard on themselves. That's my opinion.
Yeah. How much did you want to pick Eric Gilbert?
Not that. I mean, I don't know, dude. Okay. So here's the thing. So he's extremely talented, right?
Yeah.
But like Brock Bowers is the best tight end in all of college football. I think Michael Mayer's number 2, but I think those two are significantly better than anyone else. And even if Eric Gilbert is really good, he's a tight end and he's going to have to play behind him. He's not.
Yeah.
I just don't know his role, I guess maybe is where I'm at. And we haven't seen him play much. Like we don't have much to go on. So there's no doubt that the measurables are incredible. No, like it's unbelievable. Yeah. Like some of his measurables, he looks like a receiver, runs like a receiver, but like he's built, like he's big, and plays as a tight end. So yeah, I mean, could he, fly up the draft boards? Yeah, possibility. There's a real possibility of that. But like, I'm still taking Mayer and Bowers ahead of him. So yeah, I guess that's kind of what my answer was.
I think if you're a tight end going in the first round, like you have to have good measurables and you have to have insane production.
Yeah.
They kind of have to both be there. And
right.
I just
Kyle
don't know.
Pitts. It needs to be like Kyle Pitts.
Exactly. And I just don't know that he will have that production. So I agree with you.